The vaults of Lebanon once glowed with gold, quiet confidence, and the illusion of endless stability. But behind those polished marble floors, behind the soft hum of counting machines and the reassuring language of economic reports, something far darker was taking shape. When Lebanon's currency imploded, when families discovered their savings had simply evaporated, when desperate citizens pounded on sealed bank doors begging for the money they had earned, one name kept cutting through the chaos like a siren: Riad Salameh. The man who ran Lebanon's central bank for nearly 30 unbroken years. Once hailed as the guardian of stability, Salameh is now wanted by France, Germany, and Lebanon itself, accused of embezzling hundreds of millions of dollars through a global labyrinth of offshore companies, forged paperwork, and luxury real estate scattered across Europe. His fall wasn't a stumble. It was a collapse that mirrors the fall of Lebanon's entire economy. How does the man entrusted with protecting a nation's fortune end up accused of stealing from it? How does a financial paradise, once called the Switzerland of the Middle East, turn into one of the world's worst economic disasters? And how did Salameh's influence stretch so far, for so long, before the illusion finally shattered? Stay with this story, because what happened to Lebanon isn't just a scandal. It's a warning about what happens when power, money, and impunity fuse into something unstoppable. When Salameh assumed office in 1993, Lebanon was still haunted by the 15-year civil war that had cratered its currency and hollowed out its institutions. Streets carried bullet scars. Confidence was fragile. People were desperate for someone who spoke the language of calm markets and steady hands. Salameh, a polished former Merrill Lynch banker with the cool distance of a technocrat, seemed like exactly that figure. He pegged the Lebanese pound to the US dollar. He promised a stable financial future. Foreign deposits flooded in. Beirut's skyline rose in steel and glass. Cafes brimmed with tourists. The Lebanese diaspora sent billions back home. The world applauded the miracle. The local press crowned him the architect of revival. Global magazines honored him. His photo graced international forums. In some circles, he was even whispered as a future president. But beneath the glow of prosperity lay a fragile, dangerous truth. Lebanon spent more than it earned. Year after year, government deficits ballooned. Corruption flourished, and rather than demand reform, Salameh found a way to keep the machine running, a way that would later be described by economists as a state-sponsored Ponzi scheme. He offered banks massive interest rates, dizzying numbers that no stable economy could justify, to attract fresh deposits. Lebanese expats, Gulf investors, and local elites all poured their money in. Banks then lent that money to the government. The government paid its bills. Imports continued. The illusion breathed another day, but the system depended on one thing: constant new money. When inflows slowed, even slightly, the entire structure began to tremble, rather than alert the public. Salameh masked losses with opaque accounting maneuvers. Reports glowed with healthy profits. Balance sheets hid craters. He called it financial engineering. Critics called it what it truly was: a carefully designed mirage. By late 2019, that mirage collapsed. Lebanon defaulted on its debt for the first time in its history. Banks froze withdrawals. ATMs went dark. Lebanese pound, fixed for decades at 1,500 per dollar, spiraled beyond 100,000. Savings dissolved. Businesses shuttered. The middle class, the backbone of Lebanon's modern identity, collapsed into poverty. People spilled into the streets in rage, chanting the same question over and over: where is our money? And again, one name echoed: Riad Salameh. Investigators across Europe began connecting dots. Lebanese citizens had long suspected more than $330 million, prosecutors allege, was siphoned through an offshore company, Fori Associates Ltd., registered in the British Virgin Islands. The company supposedly earned commissions on transactions with Lebanon's commercial banks. In reality, investigators say it was a front, controlled by Salameh's brother Raja, with Riyadh orchestrating behind the scenes. From 2002 to 2015, millions allegedly funneled through Fori's accounts into Switzerland, France, Luxembourg, financing an empire of luxury properties. Paris apartments near the Champs-Élysées villas in the south of France, real estate holdings across multiple European capitals. The assets under scrutiny now exceed $100 million. Salameh insists it's all legitimate. Wealth earned before he entered public office. But his official salary, barely $200,000 a year, raised eyebrows. The math simply did not match the mansion-level lifestyle. How could he hide it for so long? Because for nearly 3 decades, Riad Salameh wasn't just the governor, he was the system. Politicians circled through revolving doors of power. He stayed put. International lenders relied on him. Western capitals praised him. Lebanese elites depended on him to keep dollars flowing. And when the wealthy depend on you, they protect you. Few dared challenge him. Many benefited from the illusion he maintained. Meanwhile, cracks began appearing. Whistleblowers emerged. Journalists dug through records, and then came the audit that changed everything. The Alvarez and Marsal report, revealing that Lebanon's central bank had concealed more than $50 billion in losses. Years of missing documents, irregular transactions, artificially inflated assets. The report didn't mince words. Lebanon's financial stability had been a constructed illusion. While the system rotted, ordinary Lebanese paid the ultimate price. Families saw their savings, life's work, inheritances, futures turned to dust. Parents skipped meals, retirees lost pensions, students abandoned dreams of studying abroad. Migration soared. In the dark of daily blackouts, Lebanon found a new national slogan: "They stole our future." Then the warrants came. In 2023, France and Germany issued international arrest warrants. Interpol circulated a red notice. The EU sanctioned him for corruption and embezzlement. Lebanon finally charged him with money laundering, forgery, and illicit enrichment. For a moment it felt like accountability was within reach. Then he disappeared. He skipped hearings, stopped making public appearances. His last interview was a defensive swipe, declaring he was being scapegoated for political collapse. And then nothing. A man who once ruled Lebanon's financial system quietly vanished into the shadows. Where is he now? No one knows with certainty. Some believe he hides inside Lebanon, shielded by powerful allies who fear what he might reveal. Others think he slipped out early, moving between countries under layers of protection. What is certain is this: his absence is as haunting as his presence once was. Lebanon's collapse is now taught globally as one of the worst financial catastrophes since the 1800s. Banks remain crippled. The currency continues falling. Inflation hovers at devastating levels. Public services, electricity, healthcare, education crumbled daily. The World Bank didn't sugarcoat the cause. A deliberate depression. A crisis engineered by decades of corruption. Salam may be the most visible face of that corruption, but he didn't act alone. Politicians who benefited from his system remain in power. Many quietly moved their wealth abroad well before the collapse. While citizens stand in lines outside empty ATMs, the same elites who built the crisis continued life unchanged, untouched, unpunished, and that is the tragedy beneath the scandal. Salameh wasn't an anomaly. He was a mirror, reflecting what decades of mismanagement, corruption, and impunity can do to a nation. Today, European prosecutors are coordinating to bring him to trial. France is preparing to try him in absentia. Germany and Switzerland continue tracing funds. Every new revelation adds another crack in the myth of the banker who once promised stability. But no matter the verdict, no matter the sentence, justice for millions of Lebanese will take far more than the fall of one man. Because what did Lebanon truly lose? Not just money, not just a currency, but trust, the most valuable form of wealth a country can possess. And once trust collapses, rebuilding a nation becomes an entirely different kind of challenge. If stories like this draw you in, stories of hidden money, quiet power, and the truth buried beneath the headlines, stay with us. Behind every public scandal, there's a deeper tale waiting to be uncovered, and every week we bring those stories into the light. Stay curious, stay questioning, and stay with the stories that push us to look closer at the world we think we understand.